What's your big takeaway on the results?
Overall, the continued strength in tech is ringing through with Google's results here. The numbers in advertising, of course, carried the day. It was good to see the cloud growth continue into the 40%. I'm not sure, 45% actually. I'm not sure that the street will be as happy with that, with Azure still growing a little bit faster and that business still not being profitable. But I think that's an area they can continue to invest in as long as they keep generating these huge EPS returns and they keep expanding their margins, and the advertising is strong. And some of those fears of TikTok and some of the other competitors don't seem to really be there, despite maybe just slightly smaller numbers from YouTube.
I just got off the phone with Alphabet CFO Ruth Porat, and we talked a little bit about the overall recovery, vaccinations, the second phase of the pandemic, all of that helped, but she said there's still uncertainty ahead. I do want to ask you about the stock split. Here's what she had to say to its point that for some investors, this makes their shares more accessible. Yes, they can do fractional trading, but still, and she didn't want to overstate it, some investors are saying this opens up additional avenues, and that's what they're responding to, giving more people access to buying Alphabet shares. What do you make of this?
The general sentiment when these kinds of splits take place is almost always bullish. Over the long haul, these splits end up yielding really significant returns. People that have held on to Apple for a long time have seen this before, and the accessibility is big. Investors, especially this younger, up-and-coming retail investment community, like to have bigger positions, and so the opportunity to buy this, to get in and have full shares, not fractional shares, and feel like they're a bigger investor, even if it is more total shares, I think there's a strong sentiment. And like I said, these splits almost always, in the long run, show great returns and show a very bullish sentiment from the company about its long-term prospects.
Does the slight miss in YouTube bother you at all? I mean, when I think about the big picture, I mean, the money that YouTube is bringing in is almost equal to what Netflix is bringing in. So it's still a massive business. And Porat told me that really it's a difficult comp if you look back to the fourth quarter of 2020 when we were all on YouTube in the middle of quarantine. What's your take?
25% growth is still pretty robust. You're talking about a 2% miss. There's been a lot of speculation that TikTok and Instagram and other platforms that have become really popular with some younger demographics could be disruptive to YouTube, but I don't see that as a significant headwind. I think the overall growth and usage in this particular category expands more to opportunity for YouTube to keep getting bigger. So, while TikTok and Instagram and Snap are all competitors, YouTube is a slightly different format, and I think it'll continue to grow. And the numbers here look really good. There's not a lot to be negative about from this result. And like I said, outside of Netflix, overall tech has been really strong given the overall sentiment coming into this particular earnings season.
Curious how concerned you are about regulatory scrutiny, especially when it comes to M&A. We have seen Microsoft do a number of huge deals. They don't seem to be in as much of the regulatory spotlight. Obviously, this huge recent deal for Activision. I asked Ruth Porat this a couple of months ago. She said it wasn't slowing them down. And again today, she talked about Fitbit. She talked about some of their smaller acquisitions that they're still looking to use their cash for strategic investments. But are you at all worried that perhaps Alphabet can't compete in M&A because of the regulatory scrutiny, and that could slow them down?
Yeah, I think that Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, Facebook are all under extreme pressure from regulatory, but I don't necessarily think it's changing their decision making. I think that the Microsoft decision to buy Activision was extremely bullish, but it was also, we're going to see just how much Lina Khan is going to come down on this. For Alphabet, I think they're going to continue to look and make the moves and keep going forward. They're already currently in that lawsuit with the 36 states and the DC right now about the mobile app store abuses. There's been some speculation about potential challenges around some of their digital advertising practices. But I think the companies, they keep moving forward. The laws and the updates and some of the bills in Congress trying to better moderate the way platforms grow, they haven't moved forward fast enough, and they're going to be really hard to manage. So it's hard to not like the prospects. I think regulatory is going to be there, and I think some investors are always going to be nervous about it. But in the long run, I think these companies are going to keep operating and keep trying to grow. And if you look at the results here, it seems that they're executing very well.
Another curiosity, Google's play in crypto and the blockchain. They just launched an internal digital asset group that's focused on Bitcoin and other next-gen technology. I asked Ruth Porat if this is a signal of Google's crypto play, and she talked about blockchain in particular, that they see it as a very intriguing and powerful technology, broader than one application or use. They're excited to explore how they can contribute to the ecosystem and add value. Of course, Google Cloud has offered some services to blockchain companies. Do you think this could be more than a minor dabbling play?
I think in the long run, we're going to see all of big tech expand their exposure to crypto and or the blockchain. There are so many different applications. We keep hearing the term the metaverse, but this is very, very early. It's nascent right now, but these companies are going to be investigating in any area that has a significant growth opportunity. We're hearing about mega investments that individuals and investors are making in digital real estate because of the metaverse. Of course, we're going to be watching Meta as it breaks out its Oculus numbers, which is another part of the metaverse. Crypto has been in focus as Bitcoin has now become part of funds and has become popularized. I expect companies like Alphabet to make significant investments in the blockchain for a varying number of its use cases, and this doesn't surprise me at all.